requires the local government to work. We welcome the initiative and commend the minister for reviewing the funding model of local government. Because if you want to make local government work, they need to be adequately funded in terms of responding to the challenges that they are tackling at a local level, which will significantly support municipalities in rural, especially in rural and urban areas. The increase of the equitable share for local government is a step in the right direction towards increasing the capacity of local government to execute its mandate. Honorable Chair, another critical matter that is impacting our communities due to climate change and other natural disasters. Floods have devastated a number of provinces such as KwaZulu-Natal, Eastern Cape and Western Cape, and other areas are impacted by fires. We welcome the increased focus on disaster responses and call for increased readiness to mitigate the effects of natural disasters. Looking at the grants that are dispatched to municipalities, we are going to assist and enable them to build their capacity so that there be less over-reliance on consultants. We fully support this budget, Honorable Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Kaunda. The vote, Honorable Delegate, is agreed to. The objections of EFF and MK parties are noted. I now put vote for Government Communication and Information System. I have been informed that the following parties would like to make a declaration of vote in terms of Rule 78. I now call upon Honorable Siwisa from EFF to make a declaration.
Thank you, Chairperson. Let me first thank the people of Northern Cape for attending the rally of the EFF that happened over the weekend. Chairperson, as the EFF will reject the budget for Government Communication and Information System, we reject the budget of a department which carries the mandate of providing our people with information that is timely, accurate, and accessible. Yet citizens in rural areas are still left lagging behind when it comes to access to information. Government Communication Information System should play a role in ensuring that our people are kept abreast with all that is happening. The system and its implementation is long overdue. The fight against gender-based violence is a lost fight due to lack of resources from the police services. When perpetrators are apprehended and released on bail, they get lost in the community and no means of doing follow-up of their whereabouts is done. If the GCIS will only be workable in big cities, small cities will be burdened with criminals who see them as a place to hide as they are not classified as hotspots. Infrastructure needs to be equally distributed to ensure that our people are afforded the same opportunity and service delivery. It should not only be in hotspots. Smaller cities or rural areas are neglected due to the neglect by authorities, and the same mistake should not be made. Schools are becoming unsafe, and the GCIS could be utilized for preventative measures. Furthermore, it should be seen as a getaway for schools that have no access to the internet and may get the first experience of utilizing it. The GCIS has not done enough in terms of its outreach programs to interact with the communities and make them aware of opportunities, especially in rural communities. More effort should be put in recruiting people with adequate skills instead of these cadre deployments, which have become a prominent feature. As the EFF, we reject the vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Member. I now call upon ANC, which is represented by Honourable Sithole.
Thank you, Honourable Chairperson, and greetings, Honourable Members. The 7th former Secretary General of the United Nations, Kofi Annan, once said, "Knowledge is power, information is liberating, education is the premise of progress in every society, in every family." The government of South Africa has acknowledged that it has a constitutional entrenched responsibility to ensure that citizens have access to government information that is relevant, timely and easily accessible, so as to better their lives and keep abreast with what is happening in and around the country. As such, we welcome that over the next 3 years, the Department of Government Communication Information Services, which is commonly known as the GCIS, has set its goal on focusing more in ensuring effective and coordinated communication between government departments by providing support to all government departments through conceptualizing campaigns, developing communication strategy and content, and facilitating the dissemination of information and stakeholders' engagement. Equally, GCIS has made an undertaking to focus more on supporting the district development model, which aims to improve coherence amongst all spheres of government, including the 44 districts and 8 metros across the country, in order to enhance service delivery. While we are disappointed about the continued cuts to the bottom line of the department, we welcome that an estimated 12.7%, a 53.4 million of the budget in the Intergovernmental Coordination and Stakeholders Management Program over the medium term will be used for programs and activation aimed at encouraging citizen participation. The department will initiate outreach programs such as localized community dialogue, community radio talk shows, and campaign activation in taxi ranks, shopping centers, and community trains. A targeted 26 engagement sessions at the national level are planned with senior journalists and 2 engagements with a government head of communication, as well as a forum meeting such as Government Communicators Forum. In order to support the stability and growth of community media, we welcome that the most of the MDDA's budget over the period ahead will be directed at the grant funding for 66 community broadcast and projects, and 18 community and small commercial media print and digital projects. Furthermore, training in areas such as governance and social media to 120 community media projects will be facilitated. These initiatives have been allocated 14 million over the medium term. The ANC support this budget vote and appropriation bill. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Stole. The vote is agreed to. The objection of EFF and MK Party are noted. I put vote 5, Home Affairs. I have been informed that the following parties would like to make a declaration of vote in terms of Rule 78. I'll start off with the DA, which is represented by Honorable Billy.
Honorable Chair, we must get our civic services back on track. We must be able to provide South Africans with birth certificates, marriage certificates, death certificates, ID documents, and passport on time. We must immediately eliminate the challenges that exist in the Department of Home Affairs, which amongst other things are the network connectivity issues, offline issues, long queues, giving rise to criminals demanding bribes from those queues. Insufficient and inadequate office accommodation, capacity constraints, fraud, and corruption. This appropriation budget is meant to enhance the counter corruption and security services. We must support it to get the department back on track. In our previous engagement, Honorable Chairperson, on this budget, we agreed that one of the weaknesses and the risk for the department is the inadequate human resource capacity and capability in critical specialist management and frontline officers. According to the department's annual report of 2022-2023, the total approved functional organizational structure and post-establishment for the department provides for 18,456 posts, of which 7,398 are filled. This translates to a department capacitated at 42.37%, Honorable Chair. To increase the capacity of this crucial department and get back on track, we must support this appropriation budget. Furthermore, with this budget, we must get our immigration services back on track. We note the new ministers, Honorable Schreiber, strong commitment to getting the Border Management Authority back on track, which will help immigration control. We must protect our borders, strengthen the department's law enforcement operations, which includes inspections on spaza shops, supermarkets, restaurants, and big businesses who are not complying. We are glad that the minister has started doing some work on this. We must support him. This is why it's important that the department, through this budget, must enhance and make easy the process of allowing those who want to get into our country legally, transfer skills, and create jobs easy. Although the government of national unity has inherited this budget from the previous sixth administration, it is in the best interest of national security or our country for all of us to support and approve this budget. If any party does not support this budget, the EFF and the MK, it only means one thing, Chairperson, that they want South Africans to stay in long queues in dysfunctional Home Affairs offices. They want kids born not to get birth certificates because not all hospitals have got Department of Home Affairs officers and personnel. They want our borders to remain unprotected and free for all illegal immigrants. They want to cripple visa application processes for legal immigrants coming into our country with skills to create jobs. The Democratic Alliance is on the side of South Africans, and we support this budget.
Thank you very much, Honorable Billy. We now move on to Honorable Mkinga. Nolubabalo Mkinga from the Economic Freedom Fighters. Chairperson, the Economic Freedom Fighters reject the proposed budget vote for the Department of Home Affairs. The Department of Home Affairs is fundamental to the functioning of our society, managing vital records, citizenship, and immigration services. However, the department continues to face significant challenges that have been adequately addressed. Firstly, the dysfunction and delays in issuing vital documents such as birth certificates, identity documents, and passports are unacceptable. First, South Africans are often forced to endure long waiting queues, waiting times affecting their ability to access essential services and opportunities. These delays are illustrative of a system that is failing to our people. Secondly, the management of immigration remains a disagreeable issue. While it is crucial to maintain secure borders, we must ensure that our immigration policies are human and just. The current system is often damaged by corruption and mismanagement, leading to undue hardships for those seeking refuge or legal resident in our country. Additionally, we must address the issue of xenophobia. Xenophobic violence and discrimination have no place in our society. The department has not done enough to implement educational programs to foster understanding and tolerance, nor has it taken firm action against those who provoke or participate in xenophobic acts. Finally, the department must prioritize the modernization of its systems. Digitalization and better training for staff are essential steps that have been ignored. We need a Home Affairs department that is efficient, fair, and accessible to all South Africans, which this budget fails to deliver. Therefore, the EFF rejects this budget and calls for immediate and comprehensive reforms to address these critical issues. I thank you. Thank you very much. We now move on to Honorable Zulu, MKP.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson of the Council and honorable members. Honorable Chairperson, we as the MK Party hereby reject the budget on the reasons hereunder. Number one, reduce the budget, incapacitate the department to introduce advanced technological solutions to enhance border surveillance. Number two, plans do not provide the cogent and concise strategies to eliminate the corruption and updating immigration infrastructure. Accordingly, Chairperson, we therefore reject this budget. I thank you.
Thank you very much. We now move on to UDM party represented by Honorable Peter.
Molo sihlalo wendlu. Ngumandla Peter lo omele iUDM. Ndibulise kumalungu ahloniphekileyo alendlu. Molweni. iUDM sihlalo umenga phambili iyayixhasa le budget. Ixhasa phantsi kwezinkalo izazikhankanya apha ngezantsi. Nazi ke ezinkalo iUDM ixhasela yona le budget isithi noxa nje siyixhasa le budget siyixhasa sinenkxalabo yorhwaphilizo olume inyawo. Ubume belizwe buxhomekeke kwesi siseko salo mnyango wezekhaya. Abemi bezwe ngezizwe bangena ngendlela mnyama kuse ingabemi belilizwe ngenxa karhulumente ovale indlebe, ovale amehlo, oqine ingqondo. Isikhalo simile kubemi boMzantsi Afrika sithi niphi na ilizwe lisimka amehlo niwavulile. Kwakunjalo nakwi-National Party iqine ingqondo yangena emhlabeni kwavele ANC liqine ingqondo nanamhlanje. Ithi ke ngoku iUDM ANC singenile kuni siyi-GNU. Zamani sibe ngurhulumente olungisa ilizwe singajonganga bume bezwe labanye abantu bazawusiphatha ezweni lethu. Enkosi.
Enkosi, Honorable Member Peter. We now move on to Advocate Enkosi Nonkonyane.
Chairperson and honorable members, I rise on behalf of the African National Congress, the People's Movement, to stand before this august House in support of Budget 5 for the Department of Home Affairs. The department, as many in this House correctly stated, plays a critical role in the lives of all the people of South Africa. It is through this department that our births, our marriages, and traveling documents such as visas and death certificates when we leave this earth are issued. The issuing of these identity documents enables people of South Africa and our guests to access the necessary services due to them. The provisions of services and benefits, such as social grants, are enabled by the documents we receive from this department. We believe this departed allocation will enable the Department of Home Affairs to continue to roll out its services to all the people of this country across various parts of our beloved country, including rural areas. The acquisition of more mobile trucks will ensure that the people of Lusikisiki in the Eastern Cape and Vuani in Limpopo will receive Home Affairs services near their place of residence. As representative of the people in this parliament, deployed by the ANC, we will play an oversight role to ensure that the department implement its targets for its financial year as outlined in its annual performance plan, as well as the implementation of the recommendations of the Lubisi report that include, among other things, the need to address the challenges with regard to visa application backlog, as evidenced, honorable members, by the arrest recently of the alleged foreign people that actually infiltrated our Limpopo Mpumalanga province. We are encouraged that the Department of Home Affairs has developed and is in the process of implementing an anti-corruption strategy. We believe the anti-corruption strategy will go a long way in uprooting corruption from Home Affairs as part of building an ethical and developmental state. So the African National Congress unequivocally, chairperson and honorable members, support the budget vote 5 of the Department of Home Affairs. I thank you.
Enkosi siyabulela ebukhosini. The vote is agreed to. The objection of the EFF and MK party are accordingly noted. I then put vote 6, international relations and cooperation. I have been informed that the following parties would like to make a declaration of vote in terms of Rule 78. I now call upon Honorable Ncinga, representing EFF. I'm Nolubabalo Ncinga from the Economic Freedom Fighters. Chairperson, the Economic Freedom Fighters rejects the budget of international relations and cooperation. This department plays a pivotal role in shaping South Africa's foreign policy and strengthening our global standing, yet it has consistently failed to meet its mandate. Firstly, our diplomatic missions have not been effective in promoting South Africans' interests abroad. This includes attracting foreign investing and boosting trade. Our diplomats are inadequately trained and ill-equipped, which hampers their ability to represent our nation's interests effectively on global stage. Secondly, the department has not prioritized Africa. South Africa should lead efforts to foster regional integration, peace, and stability across the continent. Instead, our foreign policy lacks direction and coherence, failing to benefit not just our nation, but the entire African continent. Furthermore, our engagement with international organizations must be strategic and purposeful. We should leverage our membership in entities such as the United Nations, BRICS, and African Union to advocate for reforms that benefit developing countries and promote global justice and equality and equity. This budget does not reflect such strategic engagement. Human rights must remain at the core of our foreign policy. However, this department has not consistently supported global human rights initiatives, nor has it ensured that our actions reflect our commitment to upholding human dignity and freedom. Finally, transparency and accountability within the department are crucial. The management of resources, including the maintenance of embassies and consulates, is common with incompetence and corruption. This budget fails to address these issues adequately. In conclusion, Chairperson, the EFF rejects this budget and calls for a radical overhaul of the department to ensure it serves the interests of South Africa and the African continent effectively. Thank you. Thank you very much, Honorable Ncinga. I now move on to ANC, which is represented by Honorable Mananiso. Over to you.
Thank you, Chairperson. The African National Congress supports the budget vote for the Department of International Relations and Corporations, a key element of South African and global engagement.
Honorable Makamu. Honorable Makamu, please respect the house. Who? Is it Makurumej? Makume. Yes. Thank you. Honorable Makume, please. Can you be orderly? Sorry for interruption, Honorable Mananiso. You can proceed.
Thank you, Chairperson. The African National Congress supports the budget vote for the Department of International Relations and Corporations, a key element of South African foreign policy and global engagement strategy. This budget is vital for advancing nations' international objectives, firmly grounded in human rights, constitutionalism, and global cooperation. Our foreign policy reflects our national values, emphasizing human rights, dignity, and equality. Guided by the principle of Ubuntu, our international engagement aim to foster mutual respect and solidarity, ensuring that South Africans' voice remains principled and strong on the global stage. Honorable Chairperson, we are dedicated to leveraging our diplomatic relationships to create economic opportunities for our citizens, fostering trade agreements, facilitating business delegations, and ensuring that our embassies and consulates serve as a hubs of economic activities. Honorable Chairperson, this strategic focus on international partnerships and investment is essential for uplifting local industries and creating sustainable jobs. Honorable Chairpersons, South Africa's contribution to regional peace initiatives has been instrumental in fostering stability, security across Africa. We are noting as well our peacekeeping missions, particularly in conflict zones like the Democratic Republic of Congo and South Sudan, have earned us a reputation as a reliable partner in peace. The 2024 budget includes allocations to support these vital initiatives, reinforcing our commitment to peace-building efforts. Our stance on international justice and human rights is unwavering. We support the Palestinians, people's struggle for self-determination, and advocate for a two-state solution. South Africa leadership in the UN Human Rights Council will continue to focus on anti-racism and supporting marginalized regions. Honorable Chairperson, promoting policies that uphold dignity, equality, and justice for all. Honorable Chairperson, the budget for international and cooperation is crucial for driving economic diplomacy and fostering peace and engaging multilaterally for a sustainable and just global order. The African National Congress supports this budget vote as it aligns with our commitment to a prosperous and equitable for all South Africans. I thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Honorable Mananiso. Honorable delegates, the vote is agreed to. However, the objection of the EFF and NK party are noted. I put vote 7, National School of Government. I have been informed that the following parties would like to make declarations of vote in terms of Rule 78. I now call upon Honorable Makesini, representing EFF.
Thanks, Chairperson. The Economic Freedom Fighter reject the budget allocation of National School of Governance. We believe that the current allocation fails to deliver the intended benefit and represent a misuse of public funds. The National School of Government program does not effectively assist our councillors, the public representative, failing to address the practical needs and the challenges. The funds allocated to the National School of Government are not yielding the real benefit, representing the misuse of vulnerable public resources. The Education, Training and Development Initiative currently do not produce tangible results for public servants and falling short to improve their performance of service delivery. The National School of Government focus on participatory and people-centered methodology in overly theoretically and does not translate into practical benefit for the public servant. And we sought to reject the budget of the department, which has failed our people after 30 years of democracy, as the people are still faced with the racial and spatial inequality in workplace in our country. And many public servant and public sectors, mostly in key positions, are still male dominated and with women underrepresented. The EFF stands firm and demanding more practical, impactful, and accountability use for public funds to ensure the betterment of our public servant system. I therefore reject this budget, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Makesini. We now move on to ANC, represented by Honorable Mabibo.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson and honorable members. This budget identifies and covers the key priorities for the National School of Government. Ever since the establishment in October 2013, the National School of Government has been an integral part of our governance. As the ANC, we are of a view that this budget will further advance the success of the National School of Governance. The National School of Governance has developed and delivered a wide range of training programs that caters to the diverse needs of public servants. These programs cover critical areas such as leadership development, ethics and integrity, public finance management, and human resource management. The National School of Government has also successfully launched several leadership development initiatives aimed at cultivating a new generation of public sector leaders. Programs such as Executive Development Program and the Advanced Management Development Program have equipped senior public servants with the skills needed to drive innovation and lead effectively in a complex governance environment. By enhancing the skills and capabilities of individuals, public servants, the National School of Government also strengthens the overall capacity of public institutions. Strong institutions are critical for maintaining stability, enforcing laws and regulations, and providing essential services to the public. The National School of Government is essential for building a competent, ethical, and efficient public service in South Africa, which is a critical priority of the Government of National Unity. Through its comprehensive training and development programs, the National School of Government supports the government's efforts to improve service delivery, implement policies effectively, and achieve national development goals. And as the African National Congress, we strongly back this budget, understanding and appreciating its crucial role for the upcoming period. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Mabibo. The vote is agreed to. The objections of EFF and MK Party are noted. I put vote 8, National Treasury. I have been informed that the following parties would like to make declarations of vote in terms of Rule 78. I'll start off by DA, represented by Honorable Swart.
Honorable Chair, honorable members, as a member of the Finance and Appropriation Select Committee, and on behalf of the Democratic Alliance, I rise to declare our support for the 24-25 budget. Our approval of this budget reflects our absolute commitment to the people of South Africa and our shared responsibility in the governance of national unity. However, Honorable Chair, Mr. President, while we stand in favor of approving this budget, we do so with significant reservations, particularly concerning the high cost of government debt. The cost of borrowing has become a pressing concern, and it diverts essential resources away from critical areas such as education, healthcare, infrastructure, and social services. The increasing debt burden threatens to undermine our fiscal stability and limit our capacity to invest in our nation's future. Mr. President, we must acknowledge the urgency of addressing this issue. As a government, we cannot continue to rely on unsustainable borrowing practices. It is imperative that we implement a comprehensive strategy to reduce our debt to GDP ratio, manage our expenditures prudently, and foster a more robust revenue base. This includes reviewing our fiscal policies, cutting unnecessary spending on prioritizing projects, and drive economic growth and job creation. Furthermore, we must ensure that every rand borrowed is used effectively and transparently, with a clear focus on delivering tangible benefits to all South Africans. We call for stringent oversight and accountability measures to prevent wasteful expenditure and corruption, ensuring that public funds are used for the betterment of our nation. In conclusion, while we support this budget, we urge our colleagues in government to address these concerns with the seriousness it deserves. The future of South Africa's economy depends on our ability to manage our finances responsibly and to prioritize the well-being of our citizens over short-term gains. So the DA supports this budget vote 8 in order to take South Africa forward. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Swart. We'll now move on to EFF, Honorable Siwisa.
Thank you, Chairperson. Chairperson, the Economic Freedom Fighters reject the budget for the National Treasury. We reject the budget of a department responsible for managing South Africa's national government finances and to ensure transparency, accountability, and financial control in the management of public finances, yet has done very little to combat corruption. Chairperson, South Africa is currently at a 15-year high debt at the 75% of the GDP. Our people are living below the poverty line, with 42% workable population being unemployed, living from hand to mouth with no reserves in place, which clearly states that the country itself is also living under the poverty line. The country continuously relies on loans to survive, and it's impossible for the country to have any economic growth without jobs being created. The increase in taxes will also not resolve the financial status of the country, as many rely on grants to survive. And the Minister of Finance has failed to implement any believable plans that would allow the country to move away from borrowing money. We reject the budget of a department which has not introduced any believable policies to reduce poverty and vulnerability among the country's most marginalized. The minister has also failed to implement mechanisms that will ensure job creation and not just EPWP. Our people need jobs that will allow them to buy decent houses, since this government fails to provide for decent houses with flushing toilets. Jobs that will allow residents to contribute towards the economic growth of the country. We reject this vote.
Thank you, Honorable Member. I now move on to Honorable Majola, representing NCOP.
Madam Chair, honorable members, Madam Chair, the National Treasury, we regard it as an engine when it comes to the financial matters. Madam Chair, as the member who represent finance on this council, we have received a number of reports. All reports indicate that we are in financial crisis. Madam Chair, we reject this budget based on the following factors. The poor revenue collection, Madam Chair, is crippling our effort to address the challenges that are facing us in this country, which also will contribute to the fact that we will not be able to respond to the NDP goal, which are 6 years from now. the 2030 NDP targets. In particular, the very important one, the three: the unemployment, the poverty, the inequality. Having mentioned the three, Madam Chair, the NDP goals, unemployment right now as we speak, it's sitting at 32% and is growing every day. The second reason, Madam Chair, for us rejecting this vote, as my other colleagues has indicated, is the high level of debt. Madam Chair, I will be precisely on this. The level of debt, it milks 32.9 of our GDP currently, and is projected to grow to 25 years if radical actions are not taken. The third one, Madam Chair, the reason why we don't support this vote is the issue of bailing out the SOEs. Madam Chair, SOEs, in fact, are meant to self-generate the revenue. But it's a vice versa, Madam Chair. Every financial year, which I believe it will be a case also in this year, we will be called to bail out our SOEs, the ESCOM, you name it. Madam Chair, the critical part.
I'm afraid, Honorable Majola, your time is up.
Towards my closure, Madam Chair, we reject,
up,
as the MK party, we reject the vote.
Thank you very much, Honorable Majola. We now move on to Honorable Ndlovu.
Thanks, Honorable House Chair. And honorable members, the ANC support the budget vote. Honorable House Chair, the ANC adoption for this vote is essential as it will determine the socio-economic impact of the 34.9 billion appropriated to the National Treasury. Its task is to provide more broadly for accelerating the implementation of the Economic Reconstruction and Recovery Plan, provide for increased infrastructure investment, provide for improved energy security, and through municipal conditional grant, expand investment in infrastructure to improve community access to basic services. The vote, Honorable Chair, demonstrates a commitment to implementing a credible fiscal framework that meets government's revenue requirements while promoting a fair tax system. This will involve balancing declining tax revenue with increasing government expenditure priorities. Allocation to the tax policy sub-program amount to 97.8 million over the period ahead, reflecting our commitment to a responsive and equitable tax system. The budget further continues to enhance the ability of cities and metros to make sustainable contributions to economic development and generate tax revenue by implementing the catalytic infrastructure and development support program and facilitating conditional grant. Through the implementation of township economic development strategy in 5 targeted metros, that is the Cape Town, the Ekurhuleni, eThekwini, Nelson Mandela, and Tshwane. The city support program will continue to provide support for specialized, integrated, and participatory economic development planning. This is expected to result in 35 catalytic project over the medium term in strategically targeted areas within metro cities, intermediate cities, and rural towns. Similarly, through the Neighborhood Development Partnership Grant, the department will aim to implement urban network plans through 20 infrastructure development projects in those targeted metros. The Municipal Finance Improvement Program will continue supporting the financial management reform agenda to address financial management problem in local government, Honorable House Chair. The National Treasury is a strategic player in driving the inclusive growth that our economy requires to drive our transformational agenda and ensure sound management of finances and economic efficiency. The budget vote strikes a necessary balance between the need to stabilize our public finance and stimulate aggregated the demand through social spending by protecting vulnerable groups and preserving essential public services, including the criticality of aggressive infrastructure investment. We are confident that the structural reform as led by the departments and the presidents will catapult the South African economy into a new growth path that will structurally transform our economy in the interest of all South Africans. I thank you, Honorable Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Ndlovu. The vote is agreed to. The objection of EFF and MK party are noted. I put vote 9, planning, monitoring, and evaluation. I have been informed that the following parties would like to make a declaration of vote in terms of Rule 78. I'll start off by EFF, Honorable Makesini.
Thanks, Chairperson. The Economic Freedom Fighters reject the budget for planning and monitoring and evaluation. We reject the budget of the department, which is effectively has municipality collapse and unable to collect revenue effectively. With all three spheres of government are failing to meet the constitutional obligation. We reject the budget of the department, which has no believable plans in place for the monitoring of service delivery. Instead, it continues to experience service delivery failure, especially in municipality like Maluti-Apofong in Qwaqwa. In particular, concern is water supply. The department also frequently ignores the finding of the Auditor General when are presented and they are ignored by the municipalities, which systematic problem experience in municipalities such as Mafube, where the workers are deprived to get their retirement package, despite their deduction were made in their salary. The amount of the daylight robbery that is happening in Mafube municipality, they can't take their retirement. If they die, they don't get anything, but the third party has been paid. The Economic Freedom Fighter reject the budget, and we have on several platforms said that we must close this department as there is no need for the Minister of Planning and Monitoring and Evaluation. Therefore, Chairperson, there is no need for the Deputy Minister as there is no significant role that the two Deputy Ministers are playing in this department. We therefore reject this budget vote. Thank you.
I now move on to Honorable Kaunda.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Under your capable leadership, we are going to play our effective and oversight role over this department. Therefore, the ANC supports these budget votes. The country has a uniting vision that calls for unity of purpose for all citizens to have this shared vision. The Department of Planning and Monitoring and Evaluation, the Presidency, plays an important role in ensuring that the nation has a national long-term and medium-term plan. As we begin the 7th administration, the Government of National Unity will be developing a medium-term development plan which will have the key programs for the implementation of the 3 priorities of the ANC-led Government of National Unity. The medium-term development plan will need to include measurable outcome targets, and the department will be responsible for ensuring that all organs of states include these objectives and targets in their specific strategic plans and annual performance plans. This vote supports the National Planning Commission, which is responsible for long-term planning, and we believe that the NPC plays a key role in the monitoring and evaluation of the national long-term vision of our country. The department and the NPC need to strengthen their coordination to enhance the capacities to improve policy implementation as a result of monitoring and evaluation, Honorable Chair. Another key function of the department is the budget prioritization process together with National Treasury. We believe this process should be enhanced to ensure a nexus between policy, planning, and budgeting. The budget further supports the department's focus on the district development model, where we have seen champions from national and provincial governments working together with the champions at local sphere of government. We are in a period of artificial intelligence where we observe robotic, many machines that are being introduced,
Honorable
the IT. So we
Kaunda,
therefore
your time.
support this budget.
Thank you very much. We now put vote 10, public enterprise. I have been informed that the following parties would like to make declarations of vote in terms of Rule 78. EFF, represented by Honorable Kennedy.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. The economic freedom fighters reject budget vote on this public enterprise. Chairperson, we have in the past 11 years seen the dramatic collapse of the state-owned entities under this department, resulting in the loss of hundreds of jobs and declining economy. The situation became even worse under Minister Pravin Gordhan, who was hell-bent and obsessed with appointment of cronies in the boards rather than fixing state-owned entities. State-owned entities like ESCOM, SAA, DENEL, and Transnet are expected to be self-sustainable, grow the economy, and create jobs for our people. But in South Africa, under the Department of SOEs depends on government bailouts year in and year out, bringing too much pressure on fiscals. Many of them are engulfed by corruption, poor management, poor leadership, and government, as well as unqualified and incompetent board members. South Africa has no common agents for an understanding of SOEs, and that there were no commonly agreed strategic sectors and priorities. In addition to the absence of consolidated national repository for all SOEs, the government's ownership policy and oversight systems were inadequate. The quality of the board and executives recruitment was inadequate. There was no clarity on the role of the executive authority, board of directors, and the chief executive to the governance and operational management of SOEs. Many SOEs currently require a massive injection of capital, and finance policies require close re-examination. Funding models for social and economic development mandates of SOEs were blurred and confusing, leading in some instances to undercapitalization. Under the leadership of this department, our country's state-owned entities have gone down the drain and are instead used for cadre deployment and jobs for past. Chairperson, the EFF reject this vote. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. May I make a plea, Honorable Member, especially to those that are attending through virtual platform. When you are requested to speak, switch on your video so that we can see you. That is in accordance with the rule, as I've indicated earlier on when we started the session, that we need to adhere to Rule 22, 23, 21, and also Rule 103. I now move on to Honorable Priet of Freedom Front Plus.
Dankie, voorsitter. Toe die VF+ besluit het om deel te neem aan die RNE, was ons oor een ding baie duidelik. Ons sal nie gemuilband word oor probleme nie en ons sal ons reg voorbehou om daar waar dit genoodsaak word teen te stem. Die begroting van die gewese departement van openbare ondernemings is een so geval. Openbare ondernemings was 'n mislukking van 'n departement. Dit het geen waarde tot die ondernemings onder hom gehad nie. Dit het slegs 'n bodemlose put geword waarin geld gedompel is en nooit weer gesien is nie. Daar kan niks vir die miljarde rand wat spandeer is gewys word nie. Although this is a legacy budget, and that is perhaps the biggest issue, there is a new government, new priorities, and new departments. This budget vote is simply a box-ticking exercise, but looking at the budget, it does not address issues and does not speak to priorities that were said to be priorities by the previous administration, such as the unbundling of these enterprises. The FF+ welcomes the fact that the GNU have decided to get rid of this department. This will hopefully have the desired effect on these enterprises. Wat egter steeds kommerwekkend is die geweldige hap van die begroting wat hierdie departement en sy ondernemings ontvang. Dit gaan beslis in die aanwasbegroting nog gekyk moet word. Die VF+ kan nie hierdie begroting ondersteun nie. Ek dankie.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. I now call upon Honorable Modise.
Chairperson, the ANC welcomes, appreciates, and supports budget adjustment, including the reprioritization of Budget 10 as it will fit with the government's goal of improving the performance of SOEs as the drivers of economic growth, mobilizers of development, and mechanism for achieving a better future. For example, there's a noticeable increase in budget allocation in Program 2 at an average annual rate of 5%. This increase, which is reprioritized from consulting and travel across the DPE's program, seeks to accelerate the government's goal of reforming SOEs through enhancing the work of the Presidential SOE Council. This increase also provides support to the DPE to improve its monitoring capacity and capabilities, aimed at ensuring that SOE comply with the funding conditions set by the National Treasury to avoid a waste of resources. More crucially, this increase is an attempt by the government to direct resources through the DPE towards expediting the implementation of the recommendation from the State Capture Commission. There's a noticeable increase in budget allocation in Program 1 at an average annual rate of 4.8%, with the compensation of employees being responsible for the lion's share of the allocated budget. It is important to note that most of the targets of the DPE for the 2024-2025 financial year are mainly reports and are very complex, and these reports require specialized skills and the desired full complement of the staff. Henceforth, the increase in the budget allocation in this program is an attempt by the government to fill these critical vacancies in the DPE without any reservations. Further, the reforms and restructuring plans implemented across SOE stand a better chance of success and of being effective if the administrative capacity of the DPE is complemented with skilled personnel. And of course, Madam Chair, there's no additional allocation, as Freedom Fund Plus want us to believe, to the SOEs in the 2024-2025 financial year. But the underlying implication of this is not that the government has ignored the role that the public investment can and should play in correcting for the long deficiencies in the SOE, and especially in the long-term development. Rather, the emphasis is put on the stabilization of the fiscal policy, which must not be downplayed as an important role in the public investment of all the kinds in the SOE. And it is against that we support the budget. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Modise. The vote is agreed to. The objection of EFF, FF+, and MK Party are noted. I put vote 11, public service and administration. I have been informed that the following parties would like to make a declaration of votes in terms of Rule 78. I'll now start with Honorable Teza, EFF.
No, thank you very much, Chairperson. The Economic Freedom Fighters rejects the budget vote 11 of the Department of Public Service and Administration. We reject the budget of a department whose aim is to promote ethical and public service and to prevent and combat corruption, yet it's notorious for doing the exact opposite. There is no toll-free line that we have seen that is available to the public to report and to protect the whistleblowers beginning here in the Western Cape. Chairperson, too many people, too many whistleblowers are reporting to us that here in the Western Cape, they are not prevented. Instead, the newspapers are actually mobilized against them to peddle a certain narrative to protect the government of the Western Cape. And that is a propaganda which is peddled to scare our people into silence and accept their condition as a godsend. It is a curious propaganda, to say the least, Chairperson. It is a bias and a barrier that must be confronted as it removes the revolutionary content of our people to speak out against wrongdoing. We reject this department's budget as it will not realize some of the glaring and stagnant issues pertaining to the manner in which residents of Ward 11 under the capable stewardship of Councillor Mafia Fane in Gomas have been sidelined because of bias in the manner in which services are provided by that municipality. The same can be said about a 58-year-old official who was recently employed in Bearsnodia municipality, who works in a traffic officer, as a traffic officer, and occupies a manager's position. And that the department must ensure that corruption is punished and fraudulent activities are nipped in the bud. Chairperson, the EFF strongly believes that government departments and local government must abolish the use of consultants by building internal capacity and stop using consultants who charge exorbitant amounts qualified to offer strategic advice. Therefore, the budget of the department does not inspire confidence in how it will correct the uncertainties relating to the inequalities in the effective use of resources to communities, given the historical inequalities in the allocation of budget, particularly as it relates to rural municipalities. Too many communities still suffer as a result of use of allocated resources due to lack of capacity. The EFF rejects this.
I now call upon Honorable Nzimande.
No, thanks, Honorable Chair. Honorable members, join us from rejecting this budget on the following grounds. Akuhlangani mhlathi eyazanayo. This budget, like we have experienced also in recent years, will definitely perpetuate the widening of the wage gap that we have experienced, the apartheid wage gap, and definitely we shall not support it on that ground. The second, that the ministry in the recent years, and probably for the MTF period in issue, has and is going to continue with this approach that people that pursue neoliberal agenda will still argue and influence them that we need a lean and mean public service and against the high rate of unemployment. There are no strategies in the plans to show the collaborative work between the two departments, the DPSA and PSC, to implement findings in particular on irregular appointments. The classical example of those irregular appointments, they highly affect our people on a service point, like in 3 hospitals, big hospitals in Gauteng, George Mukari, Chrisani Parakwanat, and Steve Biko. 3 of those senior managers do not possess necessary attributes, and they deal with the lives of our people. The only conclusive view that we have is that they are made as economic ambassadors to pursue corruption, because we have seen just in a month, more than 100 million spent on big projects and benefiting the companies that are also implicated in the death of Babita from Tembisa. So that issue, it's of fundamental importance, and it shows there's no will to deal with corruption. And as the overseer of public service servants' working conditions, the budget is not considerate of the actual challenges. It is the one that informs the needs, not vice versa. Public servants have been denied increase in the past few years, and so as now, I guess. Thank
Your
you.
time is up, Honorable Member. Thanks. I'm inviting Honorable Mabibo.
Greetings to you, Honorable Chair. As the ANC, we are of the view that the budget will further advance the developments of public service and administration. This budget will assist public service and administration in pursuit of its own vision and mission of a professional, productive, and responsive public service and administration, and the establishment of norms and standards to ensure that the state machinery functions optimally, and that such norms and standards are adhered to. Public service and administration, as the department responsible for running the civil service and organizing it, has a responsibility to take charge of things such as public administration integrity, government IT service, and labor relations for government personnel. The implementation of professionalizations framework in the public service will improve the capability of the state, as the framework is underpinned by meritocracy and creating an environment. The increase in access to cell phones and the internet creates e-government opportunities, which can create opportunities to enhance service provision. We welcome this priority in the budget and believe that through increasing innovation in the public service, we can accelerate the resolution of challenges impacting our society. Another key matter for the public service is ensuring compliance with legislation and strengthening discipline management system. We must ensure consequence management in public service, and that we are developing our approach to public service. Public administrators are responsible for turning policies into actionable programs and service that benefit the community. This includes everything from healthcare and education to infrastructure and environmental protection. In times of crisis, such as natural disasters or pandemics, public administrators coordinate responses and ensure that resources are efficiently allocated to those in need. As we continue to build and develop a developmental state, the ANC would like to reiterate that it supports the budget for public administration and services. I thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Mabibo. Honorable delegates, the vote is agreed to. The objection of EFF and MK Party are noted. I put vote 12, Public Service Commission. I have been informed that the following parties would like to make a declaration of vote in terms of Rule 78. EFF, represented by Honorable Keza.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. The EFF rejects the budget of the Public Service Commission. The mandate of this department is to empower, investigate, monitor, and evaluate the organization and the administration of the public services. However, this department is not fulfilling its core mandate. And in some instances, the role of Public Service Commission has been undermined. The Auditor General's findings on the construction of Lorette Klein primary school construction indicated irregularities and wasteful expenditure. This construction, which started in December 2016, was scheduled for completion in January 2020. In September 2020, after 12.69 million was spent, the Department of Public Works in the Northwest terminated the contract due to poor workmanship. No replacement was made, and the project was stopped due to ongoing legal proceedings between the contractor and the department. Then there is, of course, the Department of Health in Mpumalanga, Chairperson, which has an unfinished 1.4 billion project in Middelburg Hospital. The construction started in 2017 and again set to be completed in 2020 and has not been completed to date. There is no accountability as to why has it taken over 7 years to finish this hospital, while people do not have access to quality healthcare. When the EFF went to visit the unfinished hospital, we were met with hit and miss reports which indicated that the ends are too far to meet, and with 58% of the work completed, the continuous uncertainties and the shifting of goalposts is at the center at the expense of the end users. This is a clear demonstration that there is no value for money, nor adherence to public value. Chairperson, we therefore reject the budget of a department which has failed to ensure accountability cycles are protected in terms of planning, monitoring, evaluation, reporting, learning, and improvement in all government structures by ensuring devolution of the Public Service Commission in sub-national governments with focus on local government services. Therefore, the EFF 7 non-negotiable cardinal pillar demands an open and accountable corrupt-free government and society without the fear of victimization by the state agencies. We are yet to see those values in this department. Therefore, we reject this vote. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Member. I now call upon the ANC representative, Honorable Ngumalo.
No, thank you very much, Chair, and my greetings to you. Chairperson, I stand before you to state that we support the budget for the Public Service Commission. Ever since its creation and development, the Public Service Commission is an independent institution that has a responsibility to promote a high standard of professionalism, ethics, and accountability within the public sector. Chairperson, its mandates, role, and function are critical in supporting our democracy, and it's ensuring that the public service operate efficiently, fairly, and at the best interest of the public. As the ANC, we are of the view that the budget will further help the Public Service Commission. This budget aligned to support the institution to ensure that the public service adhere to ethical standard and its conduct, align with the values and principles of public administration. Chairperson, it's also aligned with the promotion of efficient, economical, and effective use of resources. The budget will assist the Public Service Commission in ensuring that public servants are accountable for their action and that their operation are transparent to the public. The ANC as a liberation movement still believe in the transformation of society, and it's of the view that the Public Service Commission plays a key role in promoting ethical conduct, enhancing accountability, improving service delivery, and supporting transformation. Chairperson, to further strengthen the Commission, it will be critical for the 7th Parliament to process the Public Service Commission's bill, which will enhance the role and scope of the commission as it will include local government, which is critical sphere requiring this focus. Despite the commission still requiring more resources, we believe that this is adequate capacity, system and partnership to execute its constitutional mandate. The Public Service Commission is a vital institution in a constitutional democracy. Its effort contribute to building the public service that is capable, responsive, and committed to serving the people of South Africa. Therefore, as the ANC, we are supporting this budget. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Numalo. The vote is agreed to. The objection of EFF and MK Party are accordingly noted. I put vote 13, which is Public Works and Infrastructure. I have been informed that the following parties would like to make a declaration of vote in terms of Rule 78. DA, Honorable Badenhorst.
Honorable Chair, this budget, like many other budgets debated today, is suffering the consequences of 30 years of corruption, mismanagement, cadre deployment, and state capture. The Department of Public Works and Infrastructure has indicated that to accommodate the cabinet-approved reductions of 5 billion rand over the medium-term expenditure framework period, its own expenditure will decrease from 8.4 billion rand in 2023-24 to 7.6 billion rand in 2024-25. The Minister of Public Works and Infrastructure has indicated that the time has come to put South Africans first by investing more in growing the economy and creating jobs, by being prudent with the public purse and cutting down on perks. Minister McPherson has already indicated that it's now time to turn South Africa into a construction site, to declare war on construction mafias, to halt the procurement of new houses and offices and the refurbishment of houses and offices for members of the new cabinet and parliament, and start spending more on infrastructure supporting our communities. To this effect, the minister has already indicated that he's busy setting up an advisory committee in his office to guide his ministry on infrastructure projects. We support the passing of this budget, not because it's a good budget, Honourable Chair, but because it's needed to carry us to a point where our minister and his team can properly influence aspects of the budget for the benefit of all South Africans. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Badenhorst. We now move on to Honorable Makesini.
Thanks, Chairperson. EFF asivumelane nale budget. Sifila ukuthi le budget ayina plan enokusasista ngayo kusale department phambili. Izizathu zethu ngezilandelayo. The current budget lacks a clear comprehensive plan that could genuinely benefit our community. Infrastructure is the backbone of economic growth and is pivotal for development of skills that can create millions of jobs. To achieve this goal, we need a well-defined strategy that ensures the effective management and utilization of assets. We therefore reject the budget of the department, which is custodian of all property in South Africa, but it finds itself wanting and not being able to provide our people with the basic infrastructure for schools, hospital, clinic, and exposing them in the pit toilet. Thus far, until this revised budget is presented that address these critical issues with clear action plan, we cannot in good conscience support this budget. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Makesini. Honorable Nzimande, MK Party.
No, thanks, Honorable Chair. I'll be quick and very short. Like we have indicated earlier when we dealt with the speech, we can't support using of money on the budget that are not going to make an impact to lives of our people. For the plans do not really have clear and correct performance indicators and outputs that will take us to the desirable outcomes. The second part, the reduction of a budget for refurbishment and maintenance against the aging infrastructure, in particular the one that deals with purification of water and other areas, is a cause of concern, which we believe it is carefully calculated to finally reach to a point of commodifying water, like one of the member here prefers that we should have a graduated way of commodifying water would start through triple P, and we reject that. The second part is that, like we have argued and we are still arguing, that we don't believe that as the budget has been cut, like we said, on capital expenditure or capital assets, it will do any good for all spheres of government. And we believe on those just fundamental points, we should be rejecting this budget, and we do. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Simande. I'm now inviting Honorable Lekwase from ANC.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson. The ANC supports the Appropriation Bill Budget 13 of Public Works and Infrastructure. The department has a major role to play in the construction industry and the built environment. Through the Property Trading Management Company, the department is the custodian of government immovable property, and it must add value to the property portfolio through maintenance and development. The progress must occur in the maintenance of property, and the cost of leases needs to be reduced. It is expected that there will be substantive progress in completing the property register. Since the formation of Infrastructure South Africa in the department has an important role to play in facilitating infrastructure development as part of the implementation of economic reconstruction and recovery plan. Critical to infrastructure development is the Welisizwe building program, which benefits rural communities by enabling access to social services, jobs, and markets. This is also part of providing infrastructure for rural areas to enable the development of agricultural sector through land reform to develop small and medium black farmers. This will increase food security and produce poverty, inequality, and unemployment, as well as historic economic exclusion. The department has also been leasing land for special development and agricultural development. It is imperative that land that is released as part of land reform is utilized to redress the injustice of the apartheid past and not utilized to create expensive housing. The development of small harbors with the completion of the refurbishing of 13 harbors in the Western Cape is crucial to the inclusive economic development of coastal communities. It is expected that the feasibility studies of Port St. John's and Port Alfred will be completed in the financial year for the further development of small harbors to enable economic development. The Extended Public Works Program remains a major source of employment and skilling the people who would otherwise find employment. The program will need to ensure job creation in all provinces. The skilling component of developing artisans needs to be expanded, leading to small business development or formal employment. There must be work to be done, and progress needs to be made and be felt by communities in all provinces. Qualitative and impactful spending is what is required.
Thank you so much. The vote is agreed to. The objections of EFF and MK Party are, however, noted. I put vote 14, Statistics South Africa. I have been informed that the following parties would like to make a declaration of vote in terms of Rule 78. The DA Party, Honorable Badenhorst.
Thank you. Honourable Chair, historically, the Democratic Alliance has usually supported the budget proposals for Stats SA, even when opposing most others. We did this for the important and specific reason that we as a party subscribe to the principles of evidence-based planning and evidence-based decision-making. Stats SA provides the data that constitutes the evidence that informs many decisions of government, including the important and catalytic infrastructure planning, as well as the equitable share distribution. Or so it should. Chair, as we move to support this budget vote today, we must raise a concern that too many doubts have been voiced as to the accuracy of the recent census results. Stats SA has itself confirmed that there is a substantial undercount. The substantial reduction in reported population in, for example, Johannesburg, does not match the lived experience on the ground and is certainly not borne out by satellite imagery. In fact, the assertion on the percentage of population living in formal dwellings has dangerous implications for both the planning of infrastructure as well as the funding needed to support the members of our communities who are in the greatest need of government services and support. A look at other similar anomalies shows that the rapid increase in the number of formal dwellings reported by Stats SA in the municipal area of, for example, in PLENARY, could not possibly be correct. There is no possible way that the town planning imperatives could have been met at the reported rate. Stats SA performs a key function in our country. They must be appropriately funded in a way that enables them to do their work well. But if they spend their full budget and do not produce data that can be relied on, then that budget cannot be justified. We trust that the department is working hard to restore their credibility and that they will put the resources made available to them to best use, ensuring accurate and timely data that guides the planning of all three spheres of government. The DA will support this budget. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Badenhorst. I'm inviting EFF, Honorable Siwisa.
Thank you, Chair. Chairperson, let me first greet the President, Commander-in-Chief, Julius Solomalema, Commissar's leadership across the province, and the supporters of the EFF. Chairperson, Stats SA is an important body in South Africa as it gives clear indication of the population of the country. Through Stats SA, allocation of funds will be done to ensure service delivery. Through Stats SA, it becomes easy to identify how many schools, clinics, hospitals, houses are needed to ensure that the rights of people are not violated. The body gives statistics regarding employment, unemployment, gives clarity pertaining access to water and electricity, access to education, whether formal or informal. Stats SA exists as a credible source of data that should and must inform policy formulations and implementation. But over the years, the Stats SA budget has consistently been cut. This has compromised the quality, scale, and scope of work that Stats SA can do. Despite its important role and capability to give reliable information, not enough support is given. Disruption of the National Statistics Offices by external environment is of a great concern that needs to be looked into. Stats SA, through its conduct and survey, noticed that the country is faced with triple challenge of poverty, inequality, and unemployment. As the EFF, we appreciate the work that is done by the people at Stats SA and their dedication. The work of Stats SA is able to accurately state where money is needed and the most and how it can be utilized. The drafting of the Statistics Act Amendment Bill should not be used as an opportunity for corruption and tenders been given to cadres after it has been approved. We as the EFF, we reject this report. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable Numalo from ANC.
No, thank you very much, Chair. On behalf of the ANC, I stand to support the budget for Statistics South Africa. The budget stands as a beacon of strategy and foresight, and it encapsulates the vision and mission of Statistics South Africa, which are improving the lives through data ecosystem and transforming the production, coordination, and the use of statistics through optimization, partnership, and innovation. Statistics South Africa, as the National Statistics Service of South Africa, has an aim to provide timely, accurate and official statistics for the promotion of economic growth and development. South Africa is one of the countries that is not shy to collect data on demographics and economic and release the information to the public for scrutiny. Our determination to honest data capturing and releasing of results is dependent on honest data capturing and the releasing of results is independent on the profound work that is being done by Statistics South Africa. Chairperson, this budget will allow Statistics South Africa to continue to perform comprehensive demographic, economic and social census and survey, analyzing of the collected data, the publishing of reports that provide insight into various aspects in the South African society and economy. The investment in infrastructure and technology to ensure accurate and efficient data collection and processing. The Statistics South Africa will continue to train and develop the skill to its staff and maintain high standard of statistically analysis and reporting. Statistics are critical for planning and measuring various development indicators. State South Africa enable the government to make data and evidence-based decision. Statistics South Africa's data from the time to time is used to ensure equitable distribution of government services, the allocation of government funds amongst various regions for education, health services, and other sectors. Other uses of the data also delineate of electoral district of national and local level in the measurement of the impact of industrial development. The ANC firmly support the budget, realizing the acknowledging its vital contribution to the advancement of the national democratic revolution through a developmental state. Therefore, as the African National Congress, we are supporting the budget. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Numalo. The vote is agreed to. The objections of EFF and MK Party are noted. I put vote 15, which is traditional affairs. I have been informed that the following party would like to make a declaration of vote in terms of Rule 78. EFF, represented by Honorable Keza.
No, thank you very much, Chairperson. The EFF rejects vote 15 of the Traditional Affairs Department. The Department of Traditional Affairs' main aim is to coordinate traditional affairs activities across government through development of appropriate policies, norms, and standards. Yet there are underlying circumstances which underscores the lack of attention on outstanding traditional community issues. The reality is that in terms of public education and community engagement, we have submitted in this House before that the budget will not be able to cater for many of its programs and sub-programs, such as implementation of the Customary Initiation Act, particularly as it relates to awareness of rural areas where initiation processes is mostly practiced. It is not clear how these programs and objectives are reflective of the poor circumstances that continue to plague traditional surgeons in areas such as Libote and Port St. George at the Eastern Cape. Second, there is no visible participation of traditional authorities in municipal local economic development in which there can be economic activities for benefit of the otherwise unemployed and inactive traditional communities. Instead, what you see in this space are disputes over who will or not secure tenders. Third, there are issues of political interference yet to be resolved into the mismanagement, which demands urgent attention and reform in the area of traditional authorities in this country. There is chronic lack of disputes and claims resolution in traditional communities such as Emangweni in Escort in KwaZulu-Natal, where violence ensued while people fled from their homes to take cover in nearby forests. The same can be said about the non-recognition of Amahlubi Nation in the Eastern Cape and Amapaca, and the issue of King Sikau, Ahlangene wamaXhosa, ongenayo nendlu le yokuhlala eyinkokheli. Masithethe nje sithi phaca sibhensise into yokubana amakhosi funeka athathwe serious in this country because amakhosi are at the same status as the president. So the benefits cannot be subservient. The benefits of amakhosi, because ngabantu abazelelweyo, they don't come after 5-year term and go. They are born to be leaders, and as custodians of the land and custodians of the culture, they must be taken seriously in this country. You can't give an excuse that
Honorable member, your time is up.
money for 70.
Honorable member. I now call upon
Thank you very much.
Honorable member. Honorable Nzimande to come and address the House.
Next, thanks, Honorable Chair. Ngiyabonga kakhulu nokuthi nje ngizolandelwa inkosi yami ukuthi ikhulume after mina. Izobe ingiphoxile-ke nje ukuthi bese ingalandeli lokho engizosho ngomlomo. Inkosi yami ngidlwela yona nje ngizokwendlalela yona ukuthi nanoma kuthiwa kuyafiwa kube yimi engifaqala. Angeke ihambisane nabantu esisathi sifuna umzimba kaBhambatha abawufihla namhlanje singawazi ukuthi washonaphi. We as the MK party rejected the budget for the following reasons. The budget and the plans perpetuated the subordination of traditional leaders to government spheres, cooperative governance, as contained in the mission statement of the department, contrary definitely to what we aspire to achieve. The traditional leaders must be accorded the judicial powers as owners of the land, not to perpetuate a situation where they are reduced to be abafana nje with caps in hand. A budget that is allocated undermine the rightful role the traditional leaders in making final determination on policies preserving on our culture, beliefs, tradition, values, and African ethical behavior. We shall only support a budget that is going to elevate our traditional leaders above this constitutional arrangement that makes parliaments and municipalities to be above our kings, queens, and other traditional leaders. We shall support a budget that is showing a desire with plans that are aimed at replacing the applicable legal framework with the ones that elevate our kings, queens, and traditional leaders. Ngalokho nje sihlalo ngibonga kakhulu, ngiyazi inkosi yami izongivumela. Thank you.
Siyabonga Mhlonishwa Nzimande. Sizonikezela kukumkani. Inkosi yethu.
Honorable Chairperson and honorable members, Department of Traditional Affairs in South Africa is a pivotal institution dedicated to the recognition, support, and development of traditional and Khoisan leadership and their communities. Established to preserve and promote the cultural heritage of the nation's diverse ethnic groups. Traditional affairs plays an essential role in fostering the needed social cohesion, promoting development and integrating traditional governance with traditional institutions in line with Chapter 3 of the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa. The ANC, therefore, supports the budget for the Department of Traditional Affairs. Traditional leadership has long been a centerpiece of African societies, predating colonial rule and the establishment of modern states. In South Africa, traditional leaders have historically played significant roles in governance, social organization, and cultural preservation. The colonial and apartheid eras, however, sought to undermine and control traditional leadership, stripping it of its autonomy and distorting its functions to serve the interest of the state. With the advent of democracy in 1994, there was a renewed focus on restoration and recognition of the role of traditional leadership within the democratic South Africa, cause led by the mighty African National Congress. The budget will continue to enshrine the role of traditional leaders, traditional affairs, both in our democracy and our communities. This budget will also help traditional affairs with its mandate of recognizing and supporting traditional leadership, promoting of cultural heritage, and integrating traditional institutions with democratic governance. Traditional affairs has been instrumental in developing and implementing policies that recognize and support traditional leadership. Traditional affairs has also initiated initiatives such as cultural festivals, heritage preservation projects, and support of indigenous knowledge systems. And this indicates that traditional affairs has played a crucial role in promoting and preserving South Africa's cultural heritage. ANC further believe that the traditional leadership has a critical role in spatial planning and increasing access to land, particularly in communal land. Economic development role played by traditional leaders in South Africa. I hear men said Bayete and women ululating. Thank you, Chairperson.
Enkosi. The vote is agreed to, honorable delegates. The objection of EFF and MK Party are noted. Honorable members, the proceedings are now suspended until 13 hours. Thank you.
Recording stopped.
Honorable members, Order. Honorable members, lunch shall be served at the restaurant across the Queen's Hall at my own cost.
You're not going to all lunch.